All right, gentlemen, so as we get hyped up and ready, you can see the crowd is all getting very overzealous and ready to watch and support probably their Na'Vi squad here. You've got to remember, this grand final is going to be a best of 5. Do you think that can favor or unfavor either of these two teams? I know we haven't really seen either of them even going to like the championship rounds, but if it was to go that far and we're seeing this clash of styles, is there one team that could benefit the other?
I was going to say
VGR has to benefit them a little bit more. Yeah, because they're just, like I want to go back to it, they bend, but they just don't break. I feel like they do get down like in the first, maybe the second game, but then they had the potential to come back. And Na'Vi is one of those teams where we see how they can play very early aggressive, but what if somebody else beats you to the punch, right? What if VGR are able to punish that? It's kind of what EG did to CDEC. Eventually, they were able to figure it out and punish all that early game aggression.
You know what? I was going to go in an entirely different direction, but I think you've convinced me.
You could, yes.
One thing that we've seen from VGR several times already.
The debater is no longer here.
No, seriously, we've seen several times already in this tournament that VGR has been able to make those adjustments, and we haven't necessarily seen Na'Vi get seriously challenged yet, right?
Exactly.
So I agree. I think there may be a little bit of an advantage for FY.
Ooh, it looks like we got some player entrance here. The first team that's going to be making their move onto the stage coming out from that lower bracket. VG.Reborn.
Hey, why didn't I pick the cool jackets to win? Oh,
I still want one of those.
What do you think sports the better player attire? Just to step off into a more fun kind of post question here. Who's got the style?
I still like the red jacket
yeah,
flag.
those red jackets are.
It's so weird
Red
because
and white.
VG Gaming to me always just is that green and black. You know, that classic note of love. This
If
looks
I-
almost like LGD colors to me. But as they get psyched up and ready, you know, funny little, you know, tidbits about it. Obviously, this team making it this far already with Coach Mikasa stepping in is a huge feat in itself. Then you look at players like ZYF. This guy was, I don't want to say stuck because apparently he had put himself in this position, but he was waiting a second string behind Burning for quite a while. Now, this, what many people feel like is the new generation of core players able to be in the spotlight. What kind of future are we seeing for ZYF?
Well, there's a real parallel to me between ZYF and Dityara. They're two guys that kind of were really obviously very talented, but spent a lot of time on Tier 2 teams, and we were wondering whether they were ever going to break through.
Here comes Na'Vi. Obviously, this is the hometown crowd favorite. And I'm sure they're loving the energy here from the audience. I mean, almost nostalgia for all Dota fans across the planet to just hear the chants of Na'Vi every time they succeed. It's hard not to like this team.
Yep. I don't necessarily know if I like their attire more. I'm one of those people that don't like the yellow.
They're like the bumblebees.
Yeah, I'm not a yellow fan, guys. I'm sorry.
Come in and they sting.
I like that pink lipstick, though.
I'm sure you do.
Oh my gosh. Maybe it's Maybelline, guys.
Every kiss begins with Alan.
Oh. Thank you. I can't unhear that.
So I got to pose the ultimate question here, which could make a lot of, you know, die-hard Na'Vi fans quit a little bit. Is this Na'Vi squad have the potential to be as good as a TI3 Na'Vi squad?
I think we need to see a lot more Dota before we can answer that question.
Yeah, that's a loaded one. That's a hard to say. Just right now, I would say no, because we need to still see them versus the best teams in the world first, and then we can say, oh, yes, absolutely. But the way they're playing right now, I would still give the edge to a little bit more yes, that they can hold their own against one of the best teams like Secret or EG. So we'll have to find out.
I tell you what, though, a big part of the answer to that question is the point that you brought up as an answer to the last one, and that the ability to make adjustments. If you look at, for example, what has made EG so good over the last year and a half, you know, why have they placed top 3 at 4 straight $3 million plus tournaments, is that ability to make adjustments both within and between series. And that's just something that we haven't seen from this Na'Vi squad yet.
And what about for VG.Reborn, as we do get to look over these little introductions here, and starting with, of course, Yang, who pulled out that pesky little arachnid pickup in the last game. What if we place VG.Reborn, you know, against, oh, I don't know, let's say a Team Liquid? How do you think they would fare in a matchup like that? I mean, but of course, we always have to factor in the variable of this gentleman here, Mikasa. Maybe will be on the team or not with the addition of No. Do you think they have that kind of capability to be able to take games off some of those teams?
Not right now. I mean, you unfortunately used probably the worst example there. Liquid, I just think would crush him right now because I think Kuro's reads are just so inhuman.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to go as far to say maybe, obviously we have Secret, we have EG, and then Liquid right there. I was trying to look for maybe a third.
There you go.
I mean, they've already taken down an OG, which I would put just under a Liquid normally.
And we all said that MVP is kind of 5th best in the world, but they haven't looked hot at all at this tournament. They kind of got dismantled here, so you would have to look, like Dakota's saying, to that 3rd kind of spot, which would be Liquid at this moment, and I don't think they would necessarily match up really well against them. We'd have to see them with No, as we talk about a lot. But, yep, here on the other side now, we're going to take a look at Na'Vi whenever they want to go in close. I want to see someone. There we go.
There you go. There is the young superstar general. And I mean, a lot of people have believed in this guy's potential for a long time, but I think this tournament in one way has sort of been a coming out party for him.
And, of course, the face.
The one, the only.
The Dendy face here.
No
Not going to lie, we've got a best of 5 here. Would it be too hard to ask for maybe a Pudge to pop up at some point? I doubt it would ever happen.
I wish. Pudge is not a mid.
If you can play support Pudge and get 5 kills in 5 minutes, then yes. But other than that, honestly, they used to run it like what Seneco's Wisp there, plus Pudge. That would be crazy to watch.
Of course, this the Ditira, the dirty one.
I mean, he said, Dindy in his room said he's going to, have some, acid thrown on people. Only hero I was thinking about that could do that is, Venomancer.
Alchemist, baby.
Oh, Alchemist.
Oh, was it an early hint?
And remember, it was, a little bit of random history, but it was Ditira with the 1200 GPM game on Alchemist that knocked Alliance out of the Frankfurt qualifiers.
Oh, yeah.
Different meta, though, guys. Different meta.
Speaking of metas, actually, let's talk a bit about here. I mean, obviously, with each tournament brings its own meta. We're seeing unique stuff like OD just kind of falling off the wayside here. Do you think the meta that we've been seeing here can kind of transition to possibly what's going to be happening in the future with stuff like ESL Manila? Are people going to be watching this event and taking some sort of notes from it and seeing what actually has been working, or do you think that this is just going to be in its own element in itself?
I think there's just a lot of heroes to take from this event. Obviously, the Beastmaster is still a good hero kind of leading up to this. We see Doom mostly prioritized in China, whereas that hero has, gotten a lot of resurgence, a lot of love, whereas, a month ago, he was like, what is this? So we're going to have to see. I think there's a lot of things to take from this event, though.
Sounds like we got a draft ready to go. Let's hop into it, folks. It's game number 1 of our grand final matchup. VG.Reborn versus Na'Vi. Vincer, winner, walks away with that huge chunk of cash of the $100,000 prize pool, an awesome trophy, and, of course, a possibility of that invite to the Manila Major. Let's get things started here. VG Gaming actually giving the nod to that Wisp. Na'Vi continue the trend, banning out the Doom. We'll see if VG Gaming go for, let's say, the Nature's Prophet, or we'll have to see.
I mean, just
it's either
just an
Chen or Nature's
right?
Prophet. It's either Chen or Nature's Prophet ban right now.
Chen,
And then
Beastmaster, no Sven. So Na'Vi doing exactly what they did in the first time they faced up, so that will allow the Beastmaster to make it through.
Enchantress just counters the hero
I still
so
like the
hard.
Batrider.
So hard. Nature's Prophet, no.
Man, they are flying through this draft.
Yeah.
And remember, Nature's Prophet started off in this tournament 2-7, had really been struggling until certain teams started running him in that safe lane role, and one of those was Na'Vi. VG Gaming Reborn, interestingly, go with that first phase gyrocopter that looked like it really cost LGD in the deciding game 3 of the last series.
Yeah, we called the first 3 picks here for the Enchantress, Fury, and Beastmaster. The gyro is just kind of that we knew it was going to get banned out there. It's a very good hero against the Enchantress, as well as the Furion, just clearing out all the creeps, early game pressure, just, be able to throw on that flak cannon just to help for all the summons, and then you have the Rocket Barrage early on for the Enchantress. So it's a good hero just to pick up here because it's getting banned. You already have the spin ban, so all of this cleave and AoE is just starting to get banned out early for the carries. And
yeah, and I'm probably very aware of what happened to LGD in that Game 2 draft as you just ran out of carry heroes. Now, that's the one thing, if VG Gaming Reborn has one area where they're a little bit shallow in their hero pool, it's at the 1 position.
Now, obviously, Na'Vi are possibly going to be ramping up that push game a bit with the commitments already to the Enchantress and the Nature's Prophet. Haven't seen much of it yet from him this tournament, but I can't help but feel like maybe Jug could be a possibility for him. Typically very good against the Gyrocopter and offers a lot with the ward to their push.
There, by the way, are the Lycan and the Batrider bans by VG.Reborn, showing that they've done their homework against this Na'Vi team. I think that those are the perfect 2 bans, and Na'Vi, of course, coming back with the Brood. You know, that's another thing that struck me is that I think at Dota Pit, a couple of the teams looked a little bit less than at their peak in terms of preparation. I think all 8 teams have come into this tournament really well prepared for the opponent.
Just Brood is one of those heroes you have to ban out second phase in a lot of games, or else you're just going to get, 4th or 5th picked, and you just automatically lose the game at times. But they get banned now and pick for Na'Vi. So Witch Doctor, yeah, denying that is really good here.
But leaves the Lion on the table.
Does leave the Lion out there. And if I'm not mistaken...
There's also, do you think Dindy is going to go with his hero now as Queen of Pain or Wind Ranger?
I think Queen of Pain, Wind Ranger are the 2 heroes that he's looked most dominant on in this tournament, but I would not be at all surprised to see the puck. And by the way, the mid that is still in the pool that hasn't been touched yet is
Death Prophet?
Invoker.
Okay, that Invoker.
I cannot. The Invoker lasts on the table till the second phase of the draft.
VGR don't play it, and then Na'Vi don't.
Dindy plays.
No. You didn't let me finish there.
He was so quick to jump on that. Like, don't you do that? Don't you say it?
Hasn't played it recently in this tournament.
In this tournament, yes.
Yeah. So that's why they might not go for the Invoker as much. So yeah,
what is happening here with the the last day of the tournament? Faceless Void is just the hot commodity.
I think this sets up. I think this sets up for a 4th pick Invoker.
Yeah,
it could be now.
Yeah,
I really do. I think that, and I think the 3rd pick Lion now is very attractive for VG Gaming to lock down the Void in the Chronosphere.
What do you think about FY's Morana to help out the mid lane or anything?
You know what I thought actually would be like, I don't know if it was them who ran it before. I was trying to look it up here, but Beastmaster and the Night Stalker together.
Yeah,
double extra map control.
They ran it. Either VGR ran it or LGD ran it.
I think it was LGD and I think it's a.
No, it was them. It actually was.
Oh, really?
Check it here. Yeah, against virtus.pro.
Okay.
In their 2nd game, they did run
once
with
again wrong.
Relax,
Check.
relax.
Oh boy, you're gonna get it, son.
But the Lion, as you mentioned before, is still out there. It could be a hot grab for him for VG Gaming. That is.
Yeah, I think you need to start thinking about just options to lock down Void. And there's the line, get wrecked, Ryu.
What? I didn't disagree with Lion.
And there's the Earth Spirit. Okay, so another sort of long-range initiation option to either set up that Chronosphere to take advantage of the lockdown provided by it, leaving the mid hero for last. And again, the hero pool of Dendy is wide enough that that you can afford to do that.
Queen or I was gonna say Queen or Puck. It's only 2 heroes left for VGR to really pick. I think DP could still get punished heavily with the Earth Spirit rotating as well as the Nature's Prophet. You need a Blink or the Puck there with this orb.
Yeah, so. I was just about to go into that. That as VGR, as Na'Vi, you can afford to leave your mid to the 5th pick. As VGR, that pool is dwindling.
Yes.
I think you got to lock that down with the 4th.
Any sort of weakness here with the fact that Na'Vi have now what looks like committed for the Enchantress plus Earth Spirit duo? Does your safe lane not suffer a little bit? Your
Nature's
off lane
Prophet,
suffer a little bit?
I just realized also that the 5th pick Bounty Hunter is still on the table for VGR.
It's not going to be as deadly this time. I don't think you can get Bounty Hunter at all because Faceless Void, it's not going to affect him. Bottom lane, Nature's Prophet, maybe a little bit, but normally we'll start off with Boots too. But yeah, Invoker ban at this stage is going to be the best.
Okay.
Fistful of Tangos, anybody? Are we going to see
the
Puck pickup?
You need another physical damage dealer. It's only Wind Ranger or TA. It's either Wind Ranger or TA potentially now for Dendy.
TA is an interesting possibility, actually.
A lot of people like to say the famous Dendy hero is Pudge, but TA is the one he's found really most success with as far as Dota history goes.
Held the all-time kill record on that hero for almost 3 years.
40 kills in 40 minutes,
Dendy
something like
Ember?
that.
And it was against Waga.
DP.
And there's the Death Prophet, of course. We should have thought about that. This is an example where I think if it went the other direction, we'd be very worried if Mikasa's Death Prophet had to go against Dendi's Quap.
Yes.
I think Dendi can play Death Prophet safely, although he is going to have to watch the early roam.
Doesn't help that in the last time they met in this tournament, both those games, Mikasa was playing the Death Prophet, and he got wrecked.
I still do like
I want
Dendi
to next level this tournament. Right now he's done, what, level 3 in Shackle early on as Wind Ranger. I want him at level 4 to get 1 point in silence. And just to kill the Queen of Pain. I wanted him just to do it. Just to do it.
You know what? If that happens, I'm going to move we give him a trophy just for that. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. But it's funny to think about. Maybe an Earth Spirit at level 3 getting silenced. Because I think Queen of Pain will be at half HP a lot in this middle lane, right?
See, I like the bounty more. I think you have to pick something that's going to address the Earth Spirit roaming on the Queen of Pain.
No, they have way too much push. I don't think the bounty's going to be able to withstand it, and you're not going to get levels.
So
early.
what other hero gives you that same kind of option in terms of deterring the Earth Spirit roam? I don't think you necessarily want to lock down the DDC Lion from getting that early farm by having him have to sit behind the Quap mid.
Okay, so I think it's still going to be FY Beastmaster, Lion support with Gyro, and then offlane here for Yang. Can they really get here?
Offlane Night Stalker. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Phoenix gets punished heavily versus Nature's Prophet, but it's not a bad hero against all of these heroes in the matchup as long as he doesn't get silenced. But yeah, Earthshaker.
Okay.
Yeah, so
it makes sense. Now that's the other option I was looking for in terms of deterring the early roam with the Fissure Protection.
Yeah, Fissure Protection, that could be very nice for the mid lane. It's not as effective as, say, the Earth Spirit because he's going to be able to harass a lot more effectively, but I think Navi's going to win this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take Navi, absolutely.
Both Allens go with Navi. Gentlemen, I'm joining you. I'm a Navi for this game number 1 as well. Let's go ahead and throw it into the Cybersport Arena where we have our grand finalist casters. It's going to be Ayesee and GoDz.
Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Welcome back to the floor of the Cyber Arena. GoDz, you and I, we picked a good one today, didn't we? Navi here on their home turf facing off for a grand final against VGR. And even though we're kind of whispering it, and even though no one really knows, potentially a berth at the upcoming major. So a lot more on this line outside of just the prize pool.
Absolutely, and this big story has been Navi's return. It's time. We're getting there. Grand Finals Game 1 begins now.
Game 1 of a best-of-5. Navi taking on VG.Reborn. And taking a look at the draft, GoDz, go ahead and give me your first initial thoughts as we see these heroes begin to spread across the map.
Looking at this, Navi, it's going to be looking to control the early game. They're going to be the ones who dictate tempo. They've got Seniko roaming around on Earth Spirit, one of his best heroes. And it's not just that. They've got Artstyle roaming around. Very rarely will you actually see these two supports picked up together and roaming, but when you have a self-sufficient hero in Nature's Prophet in the safe lane, you can get away with it. And speaking of that hero, he also can get active early. So Navi are going to be very aggressive, look to dominate early, and really apply pressure to VGR. On the VGR side, I actually don't know if the pressure will go towards Mikasa so much because he's a bit elusive with the Queen of Pain having the blink escape, but heroes like Gyrocopter have to be worried about their safety when there's two roaming supports as well as a Nature's Prophet who can TP to his lane.
And coming back around to what you were talking about with Navi, we're about 15 seconds out from the rune spawning. You know, looking at this lineup, you can see how it can scale through all stages of the game, but there has to be a concern that they have to get some work done early. They have to get a lot done, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and set themselves up for the mid-game and try to avoid an ultra-late game. Would you agree with that, or do you think there's a way that they can build to somehow go toe-to-toe with a late-game Quap, a late-game Beastmaster, and a late-game Gyrocopter in particular?
Definitely, the later it gets, the worse off Navi are, but a hero like Death Prophet does scale very well as things drag, but on the VGR side, you've got Gyrocopter, you've got the Great Initiation of Beastmaster, Queen of Pain, also going to scale well, so for Navi, their timing is much more towards the early game, and their lineup allows them to take objectives very quickly, too.
Well, as everyone heads the lane, let's see who's handling who. On the side of Navi, it's going to be Seniko, setting up shop here in mid, right next to Dendi. It's going to be Dendi on the Death Prophet, Seniko on the Earth Spirit. Of course, the Enchantress, as you mentioned, being played by Artstyle. He's working there in the jungle. We can see a little bit of damage being dealt, and he will be able to time walk it off up at top. I want to make sure we didn't miss anything, so I might be bouncing around. Nature's Prophet, played by Dit.Yara. He's farming up in the safe lane, as you had mentioned. And the Faceless Void, played by General. On the other side of the river, we've got the Earthshaker, played by FY, going to work here in the jungle. And Mikasa taking a lot of damage on the co-op here in mid. No worries, though. Going to be able to survive at least a little bit longer. Yang going to be using the Beastmaster out here in the off lane. Lion, played by DDC. And he's helping out the Gyrocopter, handled by End here in the safe lane.
Yeah, General actually going to eat one of his branches, so he really just wants to trade hits, get as much experience as possible out of this off lane. And he's doing this in preparation for Artstyle's first rotation. Something I mentioned, against the quad mid with Blink and the fact Earthshaker's sitting behind, you don't want to actually gank the mid lane. It's much better and more effective to gank this off lane.
Is he going to get up? There we go. DDC gets off an Earth Spike, buys a little bit of time. For 2 in his batch, he actually hexes the creep, tries to heal himself, doesn't matter, as General draws first blood, and the crowd here in the Cyber Arena comes to its feet, and you can hear them behind us. This is going to be a hell of a series, my friend.
Well, that's a time lock to cheer for. Bit of lady luck on the side of Na'Vi, but that's what's going to get you a first blood, and that is what is going to get the crowd started here. 2-minute runes come up. Mikasa secures a double damage. Really handy rune for him in this mid lane, and he's actually holding his own against effectively a dual lane.
They're going to jump in. It's a 2-man Earth Spike that may have saved in there. In fact, I'm pretty sure it absolutely did. Artstyle was there. He netted down the Gyrocopter at top. If it wasn't for a well-placed Earth Spike from DDC, that actually might have been a kill for Na'Vi.
Na'Vi seem to be intent on leaving this Enchantress in the top lane, and I definitely agree with this decision. It seems where they can get the most value out of Artstyle. They can leave the Earth Spear of Sneeko mid, keep Enchantress top, and Nature's Prophet doing just fine in this 1v1 as far as farm goes. It does mean that Yang is going to get farm and levels himself, though.
That's 1-0. Na'Vi drawing that first blood. Taking a look at CS elsewhere. It's an up, hang on. They're going to jump in again. There's the net. Stomp actually follows it up perfectly. Let's see if they can get the damage. Yes, they can. Na'Vi makes it 2-0. DDC just a little late on the Earth Spike that time around.
What a game. Coming through the trees, Artstyle just continuing to catch VGR by surprise in this top lane. And this is the guy you go even further back to the start of Dota 2 or even the Dota 1 days. He was always about early game aggression. Any Artstyle team loves to apply pressure, loves to gank early, and we're seeing it here in game 1. Sneeko mid looked like he escaped in a sliver of HP.
Yep. Yeah, he actually did just barely make it out. I got there a little late. Hopefully you had the camera there, but Dindy doing pretty well here in mid, sitting at 13 CS for himself. And this top lane, I think we can say it's pretty much a disaster for Vici right now, going very well for Na'Vi. You know, we're just at 4 minutes in. No need to panic right now, GoDz, but what adjustments, if any, do you think need to be made, and what preparations for more aggression coming out of Na'Vi does Vici need to make?
The adjustment is mostly going to come out of FY and where he positions himself. He spent most of his time sitting behind the Queen of Pain at mid, and he may try and respond to this Artstyle aggression and then spend more time camping behind top lane. He needs to really try and read Artstyle's movements, but Artstyle, he's gone back in a defensive posture. He's sitting up in the Radiant jungle, has another smoke, and this next gank may actually go somewhere towards the bottom lane, which again, Earthshaker is not going to be there ready, doesn't have a TP, so countering Artstyle's gank so far has been very, very difficult.
Unfortunate pause, but these things happen. One thing I do want to draw your attention to, as you said, maybe with Artstyle moving for another gank, we may get busy here in a second, but take a look at the Void right now up in the top lane. And we are going to resume pretty quickly, so that's good. General's about to take an entire wave under his own Tier 1 safely. Yep. He's sitting at level 4, about to ding level 5 in this off lane, and he's got 13 CS. That's only 2 behind Dindy. This is an unbelievable win for General, and he's going to be able to go to work on this Void so quickly.
He's out CSing the Gyrocopter.
Yang gets stomped once, gets stomped twice. Here comes Dit.Yara. He's going to sprout him in. Taking a lot of damage, actually, without dropping down, and Artstyle's going to go for it. Centaur's there. They're able to block him in. Can he run him down?
Oh, the creep!
Oh, the creep got in the way. One more auto attack will do it, but the Centaur unable to get into range. Crazy dive from Artstyle, but now here comes FY. Let's see if he can punish this at all. There's going to be the fissures, help coming over. We see one Centaur make it 2, end up dropping, but FY unable to do much against 2 points and untouchable.
So mid lane, Dendy denied his teammate, Sneeko. Must have been a Shadow Strike onto the Earth Spirit, and Dendy just makes sure that it doesn't get the kill does not go the way of VGR while that dive was going on bottom. But a successful gank eluded by Yang. That was some great play there to get himself out of that one. I can't believe he actually survived it. That was really impressive. And now he's going to get back to the lane, hit level 6. So he's actually going to be the next big kind of tempo control on the VGR side, having the ability to start smoking around, kind of counterplaying Artstyle. Because up until now, Artstyle's been the one doing everything, and there's been no real response from VGR.
Gank on Mikasa, and Midi's going to be silenced twice. Here comes the Earth Spirit. Didn't even need Ditcheraw that time as they clean it up easily, and now they're going to chop away at this Tier 1 mid. This is all Na'Vi here in the early game, and I mean, the Gyro's continuing to farm, but the momentum is completely against him. He's got 27 CS. The Void, though, again, coming back to him, he's level 6.5. He's out-leveling Dindy right now.
This is absolutely brutal. They're not done with the aggression. DDC gets founded.
Oh, VG loses another one. 4 kills in just shy of 6.5 minutes. And if only Dindy had his ult, he's so close. Maybe 1 or 2 more creeps than he'd have. And I was going to say they would be able to really make a concerted effort at this tower, but still they're going to take what damage they can.
What damage they can is still pretty decent, but here comes Beastmaster.
Roar on the Ditcheraw. There's going to be a nice kick to buy some time. Not nearly enough. And Ditcheraw overextending a bit that time, pays the price. Finally, Vici makes it onto the board, and not a minute too soon. They need to get something going.
Absolutely. They've got to keep getting active with this Gyrocopter Beastmaster duo. The cooldown Rocket Barrage is a huge source of damage for them. Beastmaster's Roar is the perfect initiation tool. And will spend some time farming up in his jungle, and he really needs the farm. He's 34 CS. He's in the top 2 as far as raw last hits go, but he did have that rough time in top lane, did go down that once. And he's got to prioritize. Actually uses the cooldown to secure some farm. So very much showing that right now VGR can't really fight with the cooldown. And it's probably true because Beastmaster Raw on cooldown. So next cooldown will come when Beastmaster has Raw again.
You know, we've been talking a lot about how well Na'Vi's doing, and for good reason. They're dominating the early game. The Void isn't the only offlaner doing very well, though. Yang's Beastmaster is in excellent shape. He's got 1,200 gold. We'll have to see what build he wants to go, if it's going to be typical, going with the book, straight into Blink, or if he's going to upgrade the book or whatever. What do you think is going to be the play for him, especially given the way the early game has gone?
Book level 1 for sure, and then the deviation comes whether you go for the fast Blink Dagger or if you level up your Necro Book. Not quite sure what Yang's preference himself. I believe he typically goes for the Necro 3 over getting the early Blink, but this is a game where you're not going to have a fast Blink on Earthshaker. Even Lion, we've seen some incredibly fast pre-10-minute Blinks, more so from MMY, is not getting any farms allocation. So they may feel pressure to get a Blink on Yang because the 2 supports will not have a Blink Dagger.
Well, Tier 1s drop at top and bottom equally, so just the trade. Looks like Vici trying to pressure the Tier 2 bottom at the very least. It's actually kind of a mirror look right now as both teams just trying to move into the jungle and take it away from their opponent, doing so pretty effectively.
Yeah, Mikasa had an Arcane Room, was hunting for Seniko on the Earth Spirit, but didn't manage to find him.
Artstyle's coming up on level 5. He's already got an early Ogre Club coming out, so he's going to be tanking up even more so than he is already. Ditcheraw comes in, right into a mess of people, does get stunned. Let's see if they can follow it up. He's doing good damage from distance, so Nako able to break this fight up. Here's the leap forward. Now Dindy trying to use the Siphon to chase down Yang. Artstyle's there, though. Crypt Swarm and a couple of auto attacks. Makes it 5-1. In the meantime, DDC's in trouble. There's going to be a Chronosphere catching FY. Seneko giving him the old kick, and nowhere to go as Artstyle makes it a double kill on the Enchantress. 7-1 now. Na'Vi continues to roll.
9-minute Dragonlance, Artstyle. Unheard of. His farm is just incredible, and it's all through getting these pickoffs, finding these ganks, and now they're going to start getting Tower Gold. Na'Vi in a great position to start snowballing out of control, but VGR, I believe they can actually make a defense here. It's still very early on. They have these fast respawns. FY smoked up, cooldown at the ready. But Na'Vi, I think they're respecting and recognizing VGR's defensive capabilities. Have actually backed off into their own jungle. Great discipline coming out.
All their ultimates are on cooldown.
Yep.
Like literally every one of them. So definitely the right call to make there, I believe.
They'll fall back, get a bit more farm going. Enchantress, Dragonlance is there.
There's a sneaky little smoke from Vici trying to catch someone lingering, coming very close to catching Dindy, but a little bit too late. Centaur is going to deny the Invis rune, and it's going to be a bounty rune on top. Looks like Na'Vi will escape unscathed.
They've spotted Dicha, it looks like, but Gyrocopter unable to really get this kill by himself. We'll need the Earthshaker to at least provide some vicious support. And Dicha, no camps to farm, is perhaps lucky that he didn't stick around in that jungle too much longer.
Yeah, I really like the way, even though they're behind, Vichi's reacting. They're continuing to play very aggressive. The temptation to just fall back and just stack camps and farm the gyro and not even, and basically just say, oh goodness, I hope they get aggressive and make a mistake and then I'll be in better shape. That has to be such an unbelievable temptation. And instead, they're continuing to take Navi's jungle away and continuing to try to be proactive. Speaking of proactive, Navi's got 3, make it 2 plus a Hellbear under cover of smoke under their own tier 2.
Yang on the front lines with a Necro Book, though. He has some great kill potential, but he needs to get the roar off.
There's the roll and the silence. He actually got magnetized. Nothing else is there, though. Easy kill. And they do spot FY. FY hits a 2-man fissure. Artstyle trying to chase him down from behind. Only has brown boots. End is around the other side of the trees as well, so should be able to make it away. He's sitting on face, so he will be safe. There's the kick, though. Blind through the trees. They find FY, and they make it 9.
Sneeko with 2 impressive boulder smashes. The first one, when they went on the Beastmaster, actually caught the Earthshaker who's sitting behind, prevented like an instant defensive fissure.
Yep.
They'd probably get the kill regardless, but it may have given Beastmaster some time and space to use spells.
Yep. Looks like up at top.
Yep.
DDC gets the Hex off, buys a little time, but not enough. Here comes multiple TPs in. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to chase him down, though, as he should make it to safety.
Nope,
Ditchera's
in trouble.
Yep, Mikasa right on Ditchera's trail. He's going to sprout himself in. Doesn't matter. Scream and Fissure. Get something going for Vici.
Yeah, ultimately a nice trade for them. The Lion going down, not too big of a deal. He's kind of the catch-up
Roar
farmer.
on the bottom. Dindy caught out. No follow-up, though. He's soul-siphoning as well. Yang doing what he can. Courier's going to run right past him. Yang's got to be careful here if anyone's nearby.
He's got no mana for TP.
Yep. Yang's just going to try to right-click him down. DDC there to help him out. And that's going to be a very, very nice kill for them, getting Dindy off the map for 35 seconds.
And Lion gets level 6 off of that, so suddenly Finger of Death comes online. And life gets a whole lot easier for the VGR side to actually go for some more aggressive plays. It's Na'Vi who've been in control, but with level 6s, I feel VGR, for the most part, are scarier. They can play around the Exorcism cooldown. Even when Exorcism is up, they've got more than enough burst damage to deal with the Death Prophet. Between the Roar, Finger, Sonic Wave, you're looking at huge team fight, AoE combos, and just burst damage out of this VG side.
Well, that was going to be my question to you, my friend. It's been a great early game for Na'Vi, but, given it's 10-3 and it's just 13 minutes in, they're actually not up that much. They're only up about 2,500 gold. The experience is just about even. Have they done enough work? Did they get enough objectives? And are they going to be able to transition as well as you would think they would based on what we could see on the scoreboard?
They've done enough work, but it's now the much harder part of the game to play. Like the early game, it was incredible what Artstyle got done on the map as well as Sneeko, but they have to recognize that suddenly, despite the 2 to 3K gold lead they've got, they can't just keep playing as aggressive as they have been. VGR are going to start looking to make some smoke plays, look to start taking team fights, and Na'Vi have to be very much the ones who pick and choose fights wisely, or they will see this lead of theirs quickly disappear.
2-man smoke coming from Na'Vi. DDC's been hidden down in the trees for quite some time now, maybe waiting for a chance to use his finger, but it's going to be General and Sneeko moving under cover of smoke and trying to catch someone lingering near this bottom lane. He's got the support of pretty much the rest of his team. Of course, Ditchera not there, but he can TP in. And looks like, FY, I was going to say smart enough not to come out. That's not going to be true. Let's see if General wants to go. He does. Catches him with the chrono. Damage coming from Artstyle as well. Didn't even need it. Na'Vi continues to pour it on.
And this is the ideal way to play things right now for Na'Vi, is look for pickoffs. You don't ever want to take a big 5v5 team fight. Try and use map vision as best you can to isolate heroes who are going to be by themselves farming. And VGR can't just be permanently grouped up as 5. Otherwise, they get out-farmed.
Taking a look at the gyro, he's actually going to be in real good shape to fight here soon, as he's gone with a very mid-game oriented build, going drums plus the Aquila. Usually you'll see one or the other. At least that's how it was last time I casted.
He's got to come bottom.
And
VGR is setting up for this one.
FY. There comes Yang. There's going to be a Sonic Wave that catches everyone. Magnetizes there, though. FY coming in from the side. He's going to be focused down. In the meantime, Vici gets the roar off on the Dindy. Dindy's haunt, or exorcism, should be going down, but not before he's able to kill the Beastmaster. Here comes End doing what he can. There's going to be the Echo Slam from Vici, and Na'Vi have lost 4. Perhaps not Ditchera able to make it away. So an excellent fight for VGR that gets them back in the fight, and they're going to get a free Roshan out of this. Roche sitting on just 1,000 HP. that's actually fairly damn disastrous for Na'Vi, as after the Aegis, after the fight, that's going to draw us back to even in terms of net worth at the least, and probably put VGR ahead in terms of experience by quite a margin.
That's just so huge. Having a Necro 2 already at this stage, Dendi just does not have the survivability and effectively almost gets solo killed by a Beastmaster there.
Right.
Meanwhile, in the rest of the fight, Earthshaker gets level 6 from the initial kill, allowing him to get a really nice Echo Slam in VGR's team fight. That's exactly what Na'Vi were trying to avoid, that big 5v5 engagement. They saw the Gyrocopter top, thought they could get a quick Roshan, but there's still all these towers at bottom, so VGR, very easy for them to quickly respond and make their way to that Roshan pit. Find themselves, I would say, very much in the lead here. Gold-wise, net worth-wise, it is a bit of an edge for them, but even just strategically, I feel VGR have the edge going forward.
Yep. Well, and what's scary is the real punching power of VGR hasn't even come out yet. We don't have a blink on the Beastmaster yet. We don't have a blink on the Earthshaker yet. We don't have a blink on the Lion yet. If Na'Vi gives up another fight like that, another couple of fights, and they end up allowing those 3 heroes to get blinks, their lives are going to get so difficult. They're going to be so reliant on this. Oh, hang on, Artstyle caught by a fissure. There's going to be a cooldown as well, but General comes in using the Chronosphere. DDC is going to drop. Artstyle healing up thanks to Nature's Attendance. He's outflanked, however, and Mikasa is going to be there to try to help out. There's the stun, and they will finally be able to bring him down. And that's the kind of thing, like, yes, they did manage to get 1 kill, but Na'Vi losing multiple heroes. They're going to re-engage, though, on the end. And he's Soul Siphon, General, 1 good.
Has Aegis.
Ooh. All right, Aegis is gone. Let's see. Yep, they're just going to back off of that. I like it.
VGR still get the best of all those trades. Yang actually got a solo kill on Saniko's Earth Spirit while that was going on, and he's transitioning into pushing down this tier 2 tower. May not get it, but he's going to get a good chunk of damage off. Losing the Aegis, not too big of a deal here. Whoa, Dichira almost gets punished for killing off the Necrobook.
Very close to that. There's massive TPs in, and there's going to be the stun. Saniko on point. Oh, they're going to catch him with the Yules. Soul Siphon's on point. Yang dead to rights.
Actually got baited by the Necrobook doing damage there. He tried to run in, seeing how low Dichira got from the Necrobook, and ends up going down.
And going for his BKB, and not far off, a Courier died. I missed that completely.
Nope.
Yeah, the Courier died on the side of Vici. Did you catch that at all?
Nope. No clue.
Well, whatever it was, I'm sure it was a hell of a play. And Na'Vi certainly happy to take that gold. But yeah, okay, the BKB is going to be coming out soon here, David. We're talking about 900 gold.
Yeah. And BKB, pretty good against this draft. Physical damage is the exorcism primarily, but just being able to not have to worry about the Earth Spirit in these fights. We're entering that stage of the game where Magnetize and level 4 Boulder Smash can just win you team fights. So BKB going to be very important for both Queen of Pain and Gyrocopter, although Queen of Pain, yeah, building Aghanim Scepter first. Good choice, I think, in general for this game, just to have that ability to always have Sonic Wave available for the team fights.
Well, they know Na'Vi, if Na'Vi's going to win, they really want to prioritize the mid game and just fighting whenever they get up their core items and they're able to hit a good timing. So completely agree with you there. Like the fact that General's picked up of Vlad's already, just another great mid game item to go with what's already being built by everyone. And the Gyro, though, is beginning to get a little out of hand. I mean, he's ahead of the Prophet. It basically, like, in terms of true core, I mean, yes, of course, Nature's Prophet is, but he's a little weird, you know, in the way he functions. He's not someone who's just going to lead you to victory by himself in the late game. He is the most farmed hero on the side of Na'Vi, followed shortly by Dendi. But the fact that the Gyro's ahead of them both has got to be a little scary. I mean, they don't know that, we do, but it makes me scared for Na'Vi already.
Yeah, and Dichira, like the itemization towards the Shadow Blade, it is a carry item in a lot of senses, but it's an item that can also be counterplayed, and VGR will have sentries, will have detection for this. They've got a Necro 3, and they've got a sentry waiting for Dichira. And
Saneko's going to come in. He's going to be right into a cooldown, though. They are going to be able to get DDC for sure, but it's going to cost up Dichira. Bad trade for Na'Vi this time. In trying to chase down Saneko, he's been magnetized, not really making any difference. Now he's going to eat an Urge. Oh, he does manage to catch him. Saneko with just enough mana, perhaps to finish him off. And the Treants actually come up to help eat some of the damage from the Rocket Barrage. And now another Urn Charge, going to continue to try to chase him down. Na'Vi's converging up here. Good dodge by End. Unfortunately, had to sidestep. Now Saneko very close. He's going to die, but they will end up bringing down the Gyro. So all in all, who would you say came out ahead there?
It's pretty even. Both teams lose their carry and the support, so Artstyle, though, is quickly going to become a carry. I'll give a ever so slight edge to Na'Vi just because Artstyle gets that big kill on the gyrocopter at the end there. That was some sick jukes towards the end by the gyrocopter, but it got to a point where there was just too many Na'Vi heroes running in on him, and VGR have to be a little bit concerned with the fact that it's not going to be just the Nature's Prophet moving forward. That Artstyle on Enchantress is very close to an Aghanim Scepter. He almost has to become one of the top targets in these team fights.
Yep.
There's plenty of AoE damage to help deal with him and not have to worry about Untouchable, but it's still a big concern that he is going to also just start tanking up with the Aghanim Scepter, and what you've got to imagine is going to be a BKB eventually as well.
Yep, I completely agree with you. I mean, the amount of damage he's going to be able to pour out is going to be tremendous, and BKBs are nice, but I mean, he's still going to be able to pound away. There we go. BKB and the Scepter finish up almost alongside each other. Now, Yang is coming up on a Blink Dagger. I'm not sure if you caught it, but the Earthshaker just finished his Blink Dagger as well, so FY feeling much more mobile and lethal now.
Setting up bottom. Teacher.
His Shadow Blade's on. Cooldown for 10 seconds. Doesn't matter. Just blown off the map, deleted from the game by 2 big ultimates.
Time to TP out FY. His TP was on cooldown for a little bit, so he needs to find a little corner.
There's a very good reaction on Na'Vi. Dindy's actually going to go ahead and use the Exorcism. Mikasa magnetized and going to drop in the trees. That's going to buy enough time for FY to use his Blink and get the hell out of Dodge.
That was such a good silence.
Oh.
Courtesy's being used mid, though.
Yep, End going to get off the call down. That's going to be on Artstyle. End looks like he's going to be ignored. DDC not as lucky. Na'Vi counter punching quite well, and they got the Queen of Pain as well. And up, hang up on top. Yang will be able to make it out.
Yeah, the silence at bottom meant it hit FY on the Earthshaker in the trees, which prevented him from saving the Queen of Pain with Fissure. So really nice silences, and just the Death Prophet as well as Earth Spirit are going to fall. I mean, both teams just need, this is such a game for BKBs on both sides. The silences, the Earth Spirit on Na'Vi. On the side of VGR, it's all this team fight AoE wombo combo. We already have Dendy with an Ogre Club, so he's going to be going for a BKB as his first major item after the Yules, which is not often what you'd see, but this game just necessitates it.
It's going to be a very mobile game as well. We can already see the blink out on General, Nature's Prophet. And yeah, I mean, just the mobility across the board, Yules on the Death Prophet, and then the big blinks we were talking about. I mean, when all's said and done, 4 of the heroes on VGR are going to want Blink Daggers at an absolute minimum.
Yep, totally agree. And Na'Vi have got okay, and the fact that Deecher is actually going for this Shadow Blade physical damage build is kind of good news when you know BKBs are coming your way. You'll have that extra physical damage. Impetus from Artstyle goes through BKBs as well. So as far as the BKB battles goes, do give Na'Vi a very slight edge as far as their overall damage output, but those BKBs will then wear off. And once the BKBs end, VGR have a huge advantage. So it's going to come down to how VGR can position themselves such that they don't lose the fight during those BKB durations.
Absolutely. And just to correct myself, not for wanting a Blink Dagger will want to have the ability to blink, and the Quap, of course, has it built in. So didn't want anyone thinking I was expecting a Gyrocopter to be building a Blink Dagger here. So Na'Vi converging down at bottom. It's Mikasa and FY that are tucked into the trees here. And Na'Vi poking around.
The smoke with the other 3 VGR heroes headed their way also, so I feel like this could be very bad for Na'Vi given their position. They're about to get completely surrounded, and they haven't got any of those BKBs.
They're going to jump right on in, and General's blown off the map. Saneko reinitiates, though. Magnetized did go out. FY's going to end up dropping to Artstyle. Mikasa next on the list is brought down. Now here comes the help from VGR, but the damage is already done. Yang going to end up dropping the Dindy. DDC trying to make a run for it. Gets hexed out, but the Ghost, oh my goodness, the Ghost. And End, all he can do is TP back home and weep for his fallen brethren. It was a 3 for 4, but the early jump from Na'Vi makes all the difference.
Yeah, they just overcommit on that first target to a slight extent. Na'Vi lose their Void, but once Echo Slam and Sonic Wave are down the subsequent fight, didn't actually see Dendy's BKB. I thought Na'Vi had 0 BKBs. I'm just like, I think they lose this fight without a BKB, but Dendy BKB'd up. There's no way of really dealing with him. They could have roared him, but without the real physical damage to kill him during that roar, it would have been a wasted one. So Na'Vi come out on top, and it's VGR who have to be a little bit concerned moving forward. They hadn't scouted out the Dendy BKB, I believe, and that made that fight just too difficult for them to handle.
FY went fishing with his Fisher, hoping he'd catch somebody. But all right, so 25 minutes. Roche coming back up in 15 seconds, give or take.
Oh, Exorcism on cooldown too. That's the other thing. VGR, as soon as they respawn, they're grouping up. They're all heading towards that Radiant jungle. They want to fight again because as much as they have some very, very big, important ultimates, Na'Vi's Exorcism on Death Prophet is the biggest one of all ultis in this game as far as what you've got to fight around. Beastmaster Roar comes up very quickly, Cooldown comes up very quickly, but that Exorcism will be another full minute where Na'Vi don't have it.
Well, let's see if they're going to spot that the big guys respawn. They haven't poked in quite yet. That could change, running right by it. Was FY and said they're going to back out. Now,
looks like they want to smoke, perhaps?
Just to build on your point, I do, you know, they've been doing this basically all game, and it's worked out very well for them. Again, staying proactive. No matter if they win a fight, they lose a fight, no matter what's going on. I just heard a Sonic Wave
Just
thrown.
Creep Wave.
Yeah.
No problem.
Ditya was in range there. I thought maybe he just wandered a little too close and got cheeky and auto attack. But just not ceding complete map control to Na'Vi, you know what I mean? Being willing to continue to fight no matter what the kill score tells them. That way, Na'Vi never gets the chance to steamroll the way they really want to with a draft like this.
See both teams posturing around this Roshan pit fairly soon. And for Na'Vi, the global presence of the Prophet does help them a lot when it comes to being on the Radiant side and having a greater challenge as far as stopping Rosh going down. They can have the Nature's Prophet pushing out the top lane, the mid lane, and then TPing in as needed.
Oh!
Swing and a miss.
Swing and a miss indeed. Casey has struck out. Soneko has been sent to the showers as well. Yang's going to roar down General, and that's going to be 2 down quickly for Na'Vi, and this should be a free Roshan. Yeah, they're going to pop in and yep, there he is.
You can see the call from Soneko, who drew on the map, push mid lane, push top lane. They're going to likely go for Rosh, but VGR are actually setting up to pick off some of these split-pushing heroes. Only 3 heroes actually taking Rosh, so beware the FY Earthshaker.
We'll keep an eye on him. So something I just noticed, the Gyro has an Eagle Song. He's going to go Butterfly. If you're Na'Vi, I mean, you have multiple sources of damage, but who's going to build the MKB, or do you build one? Is that even something you're worried about? I mean, the obvious one would be Nature's Prophet, but he's a prophet. I mean, he is what he is. He's only so reliable to stay and stand and fight against a hero like a Gyrocopter that much.
He's the only one you can consider it on.
Okay.
Oh, he TP'd into a Hex.
Soneko once again going to be dropping, and BKB's not going to be deployed. They're going to get Ditya as well, and things are turning around in a big way for the Chinese, but Gyro ends up dropping, and DDC going to be caught with the Yules as well. I'm surprised Na'Vi actually was able to catch up with him, but they do, and that's actually, you know, other than the Exorcism being used when perhaps it wasn't needed, big turnaround for Na'Vi there.
Yeah, Gyro just took a lot of damage on the early commitment, isn't able to really get away from the Spirit Siphon because it goes through magic immunity and does end up getting chased down there, so nicely played from Na'Vi to turn that one around, and they've still got their tier 1 mid tower up, which is a really good kind of focus point to help them maintain map control. Makes it much harder for VGR to just kind of assert dominance on the Radiant side of the map, and Na'Vi are using that well. Now, a Hyperstone on Artstyle. He is dishing out huge damage in these fights. He's actually quickly becoming like the quote-unquote carry of this Na'Vi team this game.
Yeah, and they need it. They genuinely need that single target damage against these heroes. I mean, if they can, you know, he's that hero that is going to be able to blow a Queen of Pain off the map if you're able to silence her and keep her immobile. If you're able to stun the Gyro,
Chronosphere too. Like, Chronosphere with this Enchantress is going to be brutal moving forward.
He's already getting his attack speed up. Hyperstone, like you said. And VG continuing to spread the map pretty well. I'm really impressed, even though the game to this point has not gone their direction. The way that VG has been able to bend and not break, keep the game as close as possible. And yeah, we're basically at 0.
Yeah. It's come down to, for them, map vision. They've got the Beastmaster Hawk. Yang is always active with this on the map, and it's opened up pick-off opportunities for them. It allows them to split push safely. When they're pushing deep in this top lane, against a team with a catch from a Nature's Prophet who can TP and avoid Chronosphere, you can only do this because of the Hawk. Na'Vi have found most of their kills through either counterplaying VGR's aggression or using smokes. So once Na'Vi kind of run out of smokes, it gets a whole lot easier to farm up the map and be annoying, split push these lanes, and stay even with Na'Vi. All 3 of the VGR cores with a decent chunk of farm.
Speaking of, let's take a look at overall net worth in general. Oh, hang on, there's going to be Sonic Wave.
Just farming. I keep throwing you off. Like, it's one of those things, like you hear a Sonic Wave, you're like, oh, what's going on? But
exactly.
Just hear it and assume he's farming creeps, don't worry.
Oh yeah, that's going to work out real well, I'm sure. Anyway, there's the Butterfly done on the Gyros. His net worth climbs now up. He wasn't farming, used his ultimate. Hell, how about 2? See, GoDz, you tried to fake me out. I caught that one.
you hear an Echo Slam, you can assume it's not for farming a creep wave. I'll tell you that.
Thanks. Appreciate the heads up.
No.
But anyway,
I got you.
Gyro and the Death Prowler about 13K, 11 and 10 for the Quap and the Beastmaster respectively. Actually, just a whole bunch of 10s from that point on. Down near the bottom, Saneko's Earth Spirit not doing great. DDC not doing great. The Earthshaker's actually picked up a fair amount of farm. It has a Blink and a Force Staff.
This could be a bad situation for Na'Vi to be in there. Going through the mid lane undetected.
And there's going to be a fissure. There's going to be a roar on the Saneko as well. Call down there. BKB showed off by Dindy. In the meantime, one's already down. That's the Earth Spirit. General there still has his chrono if he wants to try to spend it. They track down DDC on the high ground. Let's see if they can find him. Yang goes to the high ground, the ultra high ground, and oh my goodness, they don't know where he is.
Blink dodges,
Another whiff. And General, strike 2, my friend.
Ooh. And Yang still hasn't been found. The Sprout's going to miss him. Yang, he's out. He's free.
Look at him wave. Peace out.
Swings the axes to celebrate. That was just, I mean, you talk about this young VGR team, individual talent is like the first thing that comes to mind when I see players like that. FY juking another Chronosphere for his team. Yang with the decision-making to blink onto the high ground there and not get caught out and TP away because of it. Just great in-the-moment play coming out from VGR.
Yule's on the Mikasa, silenced by Ditchirov. And
he's got a BKB, so can blink away.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yep, able to make it away. It's actually silenced there by Dindy. Ditchirov just pouring out the damage, but Artstyle's there. Right clicks are going to bring it down before he can go. And that right there is what we've been talking about, GoDz. That single target damage, BKB or not, Artstyle able to just pour it on.
Bit of a bad place for Mikasa to be by himself. It has been kind of the general play style for VGR, which is just keep all the lanes pushed out. Mikasa is, like we've seen the Sonic Wave, be continually used to just farm and push creep waves. And finally, Na'Vi kind of come around to the fact that Mikasa spending a lot of time alone is a good target to go for. Even if they just get the Aegis there, it's still worth it. And getting the kill to follow it, even better.
Na'Vi beginning to tighten up a little bit. Starting to see them, even if they're not completely grouped up, they're beginning to stay much closer.
TP mid.
And yep, here we go. They're going to catch DDC. DDC gets a Hex off, doesn't matter. General helps finish him off. So 2 down for VGR, and Na'Vi eyeballing a tier 2 that's sitting at just 600 HP. They'll take this easily.
And Octarine Core now up on Dendy, so that shorter cooldown Exorcism, shorter cooldown BKB as well, which is also a very underrated part of having the Octarine with the BKB in a game like this where the BKB is so important. So
they've got a fair creep wave up at top, too, if they want to go up and push. And I think that's what they're going to do. All of their cooldowns are off.
Anytime Dendy pops BKB Exorcism, VGR just have to run away. They haven't, unless he's been roared with Quap ulti and like Necrobooks on him, they haven't got the physical damage to kill him. Not until Gyrocopter gets at least 1 more item, possibly even 2.
Well, Gyro is in good shape. Let's see if they can continue to hold the way they have. And Na'Vi, this time taking a fight and turning it into not just one, but plural objectives, as they'll take a tier 2 completely uncontested.
Dichira looking for Yang at bottom.
See if we can find him, not quite.
Really, it's a really nice way to approach that from Dichira. He TPs in the trees and folks, Shadow Blades in, and is just like letting his team know, like TP once I cancel his blink. If he manages to get the right click off before the blink from Beastmaster, it's a kill.
I want you to look at this reaction, though, from VG. Moving their entire team down there. We can see it's being pinged up at top. And yeah, it's going to be End who's up there to farm. I actually thought that was Na'Vi that was pinging them. They were going to send Ditchirov up to try to split push, but not going to be the case. They will go ahead and pull back. And we're now, you know, solidly in the middle game, my friend. Give me the status report. Give me the sit rep.
Na'Vi are going to be reaching critical mass very soon with Death Prophet. Like the Shivers Guard comes next. I guess there's still like the refresher after that, but Na'Vi will be a little bit concerned as far as once these BKBs get short, their team fights get a whole lot harder. So Na'Vi, I think, going to see us kind of swing of momentum going back their way. If they can try and negate the vision advantage that VGR are getting, they're going to be much better off. They need to get a gem probably to help deal with these Hawks. Art style, you asked, oh, by the way, you asked about who's building MKB. Here's your answer.
Thought so.
This is got to be one of the first MKB purchases I've ever seen in competitive Dota on an Enchantress.
Totally worth it. I mean, hell, I mean, at this point, is even needed. We saw just how much damage he can pour out on a BKB target. I mean, yeah, the butterfly is going to hurt, but his attack speed is so high. I mean, it's completely worth it. But yeah, I love it. Like, it's to me, this is vintage Na'Vi. Just adapt to the situation. Don't worry about what's conventional.
Oh, DJR finds another pick mid. This TP Shadowblade duo.
Call down's going to be there, and the Echo Slam. Na'Vi loses 2 very quickly, and that's a lot of gold just picked up there, as the Enchantress and the Prophet both blown off the map in response for killing the DDC. So, yeah, that's and you know, I feel like that's characterized this game for VG. It's like, oh, lose a fight, lose a tower, lose on a gank, then suddenly, you know, kill 3 cores, two or three cores.
They get hit and then they just punch right back twice as hard.
Yeah, no, exactly. And honestly, it's why they're in this game. Na'Vi's play has been phenomenal. They're going to force Mikasa to use another BKB charge. That's going to bring the timer down to 8 now.
Yeah, as much as Mikasa's sometimes kind of been off farming and hasn't played the best game, he's been involved in a lot of the action. So overall, again, we're seeing Mikasa kind of come into form. The deeper he goes in this tournament, the more comfortable he seems on this VGR side. And with a double damage rune, this is the perfect time to go for Roshan. Nature's Prophet Enchantress still dead for a little while longer, and it's not easy for them to get to Rosh in time. I think it's just kind of impossible for Na'Vi to contest this one at this point.
Yeah, unless they want to YOLO it.
They're going to get Aegis and Cheese. The question is, do they fight after Aegis and Cheese has been picked up?
The ultimates are off cooldown. Let's see. Nope, they're going to back up. General immediately was the one I was watching. Immediately reverse course as soon as they heard that Rosh had died. No, actually, no, they're not. They're going to go ahead and try to catch them going somewhere else. Really sneaky play here.
See a replay of Dichira's pickoff. Same bread and butter play. TP into Fog.
Boom.
Go for the Shadowblade pickoff, and that wombo combo.
See, she wasn't just actually, I guess she was farming heroes that time.
This is a concern with this Enchantress build. She's very squishy. 1500 HP, not going to really be enough against Echo, Sonic Wave, cooldown, all that. BKB is such a core item in this game. I'm a little bit concerned for him. The MKB is great. It is a counter to the Gyrocopter, but personally feel the BKB would have been the probably preferred item choice to get first.
Right.
Then go back for the MKB. But Artstar wants to live life a little bit on the edge, and he needs to also just straight up complete the MKB, which is still not online yet.
I think like we were talking about before, they're in a situation where they don't want to get to a point where the game goes long enough to pull both items out.
Yeah.
Like, I think they want to have an unassailable advantage coming up like right now. We can see art style is still very scary as it stands. In the meantime, Vici have smoked down to bottom. They gave the cheese to the Queen of Pain, and the Aegis currently being held by the Gyrocopter. Gyro finished his Satanic and is ready to go high ground in a big way here. And let's see, Vici's going to hit the R-Style, going to be roared right afterwards. There's going to be the Sonic Wave. Can they bring him down? Absolutely they can. In the meantime, General catches 2. Yang still up and standing. There's going to be the Magnetize as well. Mikasa now deploying his BKB, and Na'Vi has to decide how deeply they want to go here. They've only gotten 1 target in exchange for 1.
Well, they could re-engage. They have Aegis. They also have a Blink Echo Slam.
I'm really surprised they didn't. I thought for sure that was going to be a bait.
They may just want to wait out the Exorcism to end and then go for the push. Beastmaster, though, has boots of travel, so they could wait 50 seconds for him. There'll be about a 30-second window when Beastmaster respawns, but bigger problems. There's actually a creep wave at the Tier 3 tower top. The tower will deal with this, so they don't have to go back and defend just yet. Not until Dichira shows up. And VGR really want to press their advantage with the Aegis right now. Again, pings towards the top lane, the Tier 3 tower. Do we defend or do we push bottom? And it looks like the choice will be to defend.
I think this is the right call from Vici.
DDC's trying to bait it. He's not showing himself just yet.
The temptation, knowing the big cooldowns, having the Chronosphere and the Exorcism both on cooldown. It's the temptation to just YOLO it and just go for it. It's got to be tremendous. But this is, we were talking about this, you and I, just the other day. The patience this Vici team shows is actually tremendous. And it's, in a lot of ways, their greatest asset, along with, as you said, individual skill.
Yep. And they're recognizing the biggest threats, the Enchantress of Artstyle, taking him down at the start of these fights. Dendi, probably the other hero that you want to ideally burst, if given the opportunity, take the Exorcism out of the picture, but when you don't want to overcommit when you go for that high ground push, because if you burst a hero like a Death Prophet, when she hasn't used Exorcism, she buys back, pops the Exorcism, and you're committed. You get caught in a Chronosphere, and then that's where the game will turn. We saw that earlier today, actually, in the VGR versus LGD series, so something VGR are showing a lot of respect towards the Na'Vi high ground defense so far, and Now N has picked up a Daedalus on Gyrocopter. His right-click damage is just going to start getting scarier and scarier.
I mean, at this point, he's just about fully slotted, man. Like, I mean, if he wants to reserve a slot for Aegis at all times,
yeah,
upgrade to Boots of Travel.
He'll eventually get there. When the Aegis expires, we'll see one last item to kind of fill his slots.
Just look at him chunk at this tower. He's doing so much damage. Look at this.
Oh, that's a tower now we do not want to defend. This is where it's really hard for them to engage because they don't have that BKB on Artstyle. Even if Dendi runs in, VGR have the blinks to kind of bypass Dendi and go for Artstyle if they want to.
Well, they got to decide, VG. The Aegis should have about 60 to 90 seconds left on it.
It doesn't under a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they're going to get a whole lot out of it. And do they just continue to farm? I actually feel like VG now is the one in control of the pace of the game. Na'Vi is, you know, I feel like Na'Vi's the one who's completely under the gun. They can't just continue to play tower defense. They're going to get further and further behind, and the game's going to get further and further out of reach for them.
Absolutely. It's Na'Vi are waiting for the Aegis to expire and then probably go for some kind of a smoke play to catch VGR out.
Right.
They also can fall back on the split push of the Nature's Prophet, but the itemization isn't really towards that for DTRA, so... Oh, he's on the moon cliff.
Is that what
as LD says, like when you see a Nature's Prophet on this cliff, you know you're maybe in a low prio, but you also know your team's maybe in a bad position because you've got to resort to this.
Farming that time.
Yeah, I didn't see any kills happening, so I assumed it was farming.
Mikasa gonna look at the damage though coming out. I mean, he makes it away totally safely, but just a good example. The Aegis has expired, and we'll see soon how long it'll be for Big Bad Roche to show back up. I'm a little surprised at the lack of itemization for DTRA, by the way. I mean, he's, you know, I mean, we're at 42 minutes. It's not as if he has nothing, but would have expected him to be a little bit more dangerous by this point in the game.
I think the kill score really tells the story there. He's died 8 times. That's not what you'd expect on a Nature's Prophet at this stage. Like 4 or 5 deaths, sure, you're sometimes split pushing in a team fight. You want to be getting aggressive, but 8 deaths is a bit on the higher end for DTRA.
Well, VGR going to feel more empowered now, and DTRA might find out why. And not quite. If they can get vision, they cannot.
Oh, they can.
Oh, yes, they can. They don't need vision. Shoot it blind. He's going to go. He does use the BKB. I was going to say there is a Hex that was picked up by the Queen of Pain. Not going to matter, though, as the BKB secures his
top lane, meanwhile.
Safe exit. Yep. Meanwhile, top lane, Beastmaster ends up dropping too.
So Beastmaster, not the end of the world for VGR, but for Na'Vi, BKB down to 9 seconds on DTRA's Nature's Prophet. Haven't actually seen it get used until that point. It's what it's there for. It's to save you from those ganks, but ideally you want to be using them in team fights, especially the long duration BKBs. So Na'Vi just going to have to sell for the Beastmaster pick off. A Beastmaster who is working towards a refresher orb now. Double Raw in these later game fights are going to be very hard for Na'Vi to have answers towards.
And again, just the items coming out quickly. I mean, there's a big pickup. I actually feel like this is a tremendous pickup for DTRA. He just has to survive and stay alive long enough for it to really have its effect, the Assault Cuirass.
And this is where you get more value out of your BKBs when you have the extra armor to survive against the physical damage too. So VGR become even more dependent on either catching these heroes before they BKB or trying to burst them outside of BKB since they can't really rely on their physical damage. If Queen of Pain, like this is one of those games where Queen of Pain farming well, but you'd often see like itemization towards an AC or a right-click damage build on Queen of Pain, and I feel like that's something Mikasa has to consider moving forward. Assault Cuirass is actually a pretty nice time to get on Quap, but with the Axe BKB, it's like not really a right-click Queen of Pain build. The Orchid BKB AC is much more right-click because the Orchid gives you some good damage as well as attack speed also.
Both teams seem content, at least for the moment, to continue to farm away. And it's actually the biggest lead any team has had in the game so far, and it belongs to VGR. Up until the last, I don't know, 5-6 minutes, it's really been like an EKG, just up and down and back to neutral in terms of net worth. But VG really, again, in control of their destiny now. Want some talk about FY as well. FY sitting at 4-4 and 11, but he's had a huge impact, and his itemization is actually excellent. He has there's that of again farming. Actually,
you're hearing me seeing Quap ultis. Now you're hearing the Russians.
Exactly. Russians faked me out that time.
Everyone's out to get you, AC.
It's what they do. It's what they do. I would rather jump the gun and not miss a kill than the opposite. So.
yeah, FY has had a big game. He has been the counter initiator because for Na'Vi, even in the early game, he wasn't always quite where he needed to be. It's very hard to predict Artstyle's movement, so he got off to a good start. But FY as a counter initiator has been huge in the mid game. We've seen like the mid lane where DTR gets a kill, then FY is there to get 2 in return. Wow, FY, what a D ward. That was actually like, gets the 1 hit on it, immediately 4 stops away. Sneeko was actually trying to set up for a boulder smash plus, for a silence into boulder smash, and that was actually, could have been a very quick kill on FY's Earthshaker there if he wasn't careful.
Speaking of quick kill, there's a double damage. End will take it. Roche is back up in 30 seconds now, so looks like, oh, there's that MKB done in the meantime.
Yeah, no buyback, it means. Artstyle kind of been keeping an eye on him for some time. Itemization dropped off tremendously. He's had that Demon Edge sitting there for about 15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
Finally gets the MKB, and it will come with, yeah, without buyback as mentioned. So he's in a very tight spot where if he goes down, that's his team missing out on a big damage dealer and perhaps losing out on objectives, whether it's going to be VGR able to go for a high ground push, take a Roshan. And speaking of which, 4 seconds from now, Roche respawning. Already going to be scattered by a Nature's Prophet Treant.
And not just Artstyle, whenever you talk about the itemization drop-off, take a look at General's inventory. Basically been sitting on the same things for quite some time too. And there's going to be a boulder smash up to top, a rolling boulder, excuse me. And Na'Vi prepping for this. They
don't want to get caught in the pit. They are not going to go for Roshan anytime VGR are nearby as 5. They go for Roshan if VGR are like dealing with split push at the top lane, for example, or if VGR have a couple heroes dead. But Na'Vi can scout out the Roshan, but they cannot afford to get caught inside that choke point with as 5.
Up here we go. Dindy has eyes on him. There's going to be the blink, the hex, the roar. There's going to be the Chronosurf from General. He did manage to get in. However, the BKB's there. He's going to jump on out. There's going to be a Sonic Wave coming in from the south. And now Na'Vi just melting all across the board as Mikasa able to help clean up shop. End is going to end up dropping in the meantime, though. That's going to be 3 for 3. The Echo Slam is on point. But Dindy, too tanky. Mikasa has to use the BKB. Will it be enough? Dindy using the Spirit Siphon will be able to bring down FY. And now the Queen of Pain, taking a dose of her own medicine, has to run for the high ground. 4 for 4 and a huge double KO over the Roche pit.
Na'Vi absolutely turning that around with Dendy's Exorcism, just holding them on through.
Woo. He's immortal. It's 20. He's level 25, and his items just make him impossible to kill.
There was just so many clutch things in that fight. Artstyle's MKB didn't really pay off is the big thing that stands out to me. He did a ton of damage to the gyrocopter, but the Satanic, they didn't have the control to prevent him lifestealing his way back up, so N just held his ground, lifestealed back up to full, but Dendy salvages things. If not for Dendy's Exorcism there, that does not go anywhere near as well as it did. And VGR...
I actually thought VGR fought that very well.
Like, absolutely. They did everything they needed to. They got the roar off to start things off. They got the initiation. If VGR gained the initiation, they put themselves in a fantastic position to take the fight, but they're going to look at that and think, next fights, we want to prioritize saving some of that burst damage for Dendy. We don't want to just commit everything onto that first target on someone like an Enchantress or a Nature's Prophet. Use one roar, make sure that second roar, that Queen of Pain Sonic Wave, some of that gyrocopter right-click damage goes Dendy's way.
We can see there's a huge creep wave at top, and Yang happy to go ahead and farm it out. In the meantime, Na'Vi going to go under cover of smoke up mid. That's going to be 4 of them.
As they pick up a Hex too.
Big.
This could catch someone by surprise.
Hex picked up on the DP, as you had mentioned. Mikasa makes an appetizing target. Oh, General again. At least he didn't pull the trigger.
Perhaps didn't want to just take a solo Chrono there too. Worried about VGR sitting behind him and counterplaying it. We're getting to that point where a one-hero Chronosphere probably doesn't suffice unless it's on the gyrocopter and you kill him off during the Chronosphere. That's like the exception to that rule.
He's so tanky though. Like, it's tough. It's tough because if it doesn't catch the Earthshaker, it doesn't catch the Beastmaster, it doesn't, like the Beastmaster in particular, like if it's just a Chronosphere that catches the gyro, you're going to get roared. And then there's going to be another roar ready to go.
They're smoked, running right towards, they see Dendy.
They're going to jump in. There's going to be the air spike. Only caught one. In the meantime, silence out from DDC. Fissure's on point. Catches two. Roar on the Seneko. Here comes General. There's going to be one-man Chronosphere. Isn't enough. General can't get to him. Oh, now he's going to come out of it. General eating a ton of damage. Just going to be the Hex used on end. Now the Spirit Siphon and that damage from Artstyle. Enough to bring him down, but FY came in, dealt damage. Not quite enough. Buyback from the Gyro in the meantime. DDC making a run for it with 60 HP. And Mikasa has to just take off once again. Ditcheraw caught out by Yang behind that. Mikasa will double back for the kill. They're still trying to catch DDC as he runs south. It ends up being a three-man loss there for Na'Vi.
And even the Gyro buyback kind of evens everything up.
Yeah, I know.
It was completely unnecessary.
He bought back. He didn't have boots to travel. Like, the closest tower is the tier 2 bottom. Where was he going to go?
It does get them Rosh. Okay, so he goes Roshan, but he didn't need to immediately kind of like, it almost felt like a bit of a panic in the moment, but.
Oh, they could have been doing it though. Like, like he would have been up by now. He could have come to Rosh. Yeah, it's just a waste. And like you said, the shame of it is it evens out a fight that should have been even bigger than it turned out to be.
He was incredibly close to surviving too. He got bursted. He popped his Satanic, but then instantly died. If he'd got like one right click off with Satanic that fight, I think he just straight up lives. And then the fight goes tremendously in VGR's favor. But Na'Vi did not get the same value out of the Exorcism as they did in the previous fight. Dendi got kited around. He had to pop the Exorcism and then like loop around from like the right side around the river because of the fissure. FY's fissure prevented Dendi from getting into that fight right away. And then as he came into the fight, they didn't have the control. The Chronosphere had already been used and Dendi didn't get as much damage off as he needed to.
Were you watching General by chance? I'm not going to lie. I was a little confused by what I saw. It looked like he couldn't get, like he threw the Chrono. It looked like he couldn't get around the trees or something. Like
I didn't see that. They also just, they didn't have any damage to kill him with anyways. Like General attacking in Chronosphere, it doesn't really matter. His right-click damage is pretty pathetic on the Gyrocopter, who has evasion as well as 25 armor, but it needs to be a Chrono with Dendi there is the big thing. Like Dendi needs the Exorcism to be going into the targets inside the Chronosphere. Or as well as the Enchantress. Probably actually more importantly, the Enchantress needs to be doing that.
FY is farming up. He's got a Perseverance. What do you think he's building towards here?
Lotus Orb, most likely. Lotus Orb against the Hex is really good just to help protect the Gyrocopter. Or Lincoln Sphere. But I don't mind Refresher so much. I just think he's the counter puncher. He's the one who, his role is to counter-initiate Na'Vi as well as keep his cores alive. An item like a Refresher isn't helping keep his cores alive, whereas a Lotus Orb, he can sit back and it doesn't force him into the fight.
Double Fissure, bro. Come on.
It's not bad. Double Echo. That's what I
exactly.
But he's going to run into mana problems too. With Refresher, Double Echo, like you don't have the mana pool to easily sustain that. So Lotus Orb is probably the safest bet. Great against like removing silences, hexes, and there's a lot of that going around on the Na'Vi side.
Could be another fight. There's going to be a blink. They are going to roar down Artstyles. Is there any help? There's going to be the Chrono. They're going to catch Yang from the low ground.
In trouble.
Oh, Dendi in a lot of trouble. He's going to be Sonic Wave. There's the Fissure. And End with his BKB up, ready to re-engage. He's going to be sprouted in, though. General able to get away. Time walking off a load of damage. In the meantime, Mikasa is there. There's going to be the counter initiation of FY. Hits the Echo. It's enough to scare him away, but a 3-man, make it 4-man Magnetize is going to force Vici to rethink pursuing this out. In the meantime, they do manage to finally track down the Enchantress. And Vici going 2 for 1 there, but largely a win.
A huge win. Exorcism is down, so VGR will push forward. Beastmaster's buying back. They want to go all in on this one. They'll have double Roar in 30 seconds. Dendi going to preemptively buy back, but...
No Exorcism.
Yes, and VGR can look to still continue pushing. Probably want to wait out this Roar before they really commit for it, but they'll at least poke with the Necrobook and the Gyrocopter. Aegis is up.
General jumping ahead, using time dilation, just trying to buy time. He's going to be hexed out. There's going to be the call down. Sonic Wave General's gone. And Mikasa now jumping on top of Dendi. Dendi's down to half. He's down to nothing as VGR forces another buyout. The General wants to rejoin the battlefield.
They can't do it without Dendi, though. They just don't have the damage. Not just Dendi, Artstyle. They're two biggest damage dealers.
No damage. Maybe a little...
Ditcheraw kind of tickles at this point, even with an AC. They're going for the throne.
Why wouldn't they? 90 seconds on Dendi. He's down the entire duration. No buyback.
Well, the one reason not to is that this Void's about to have a Chronosphere with an Enchantress backing him up. This is the last chance for Na'Vi. They need a big Chrono with Enchantress.
They've got an Aegis on the Gyro. Like, unless he's going to get a two-man sphere.
Where's Artstyle?
He can't get there. Mikasa will end up dropping, though. Good for them there. There's going to be the roar down on Artstyle, and he gets force-staffed out of harm's way, at least for the moment. Yang still trying to pursue him out. He's using the Nature's Attendants to heal himself up. FY biding his time, sitting back, doesn't have a blink, doesn't have a force. There's going to be another Sonic Wave. General's going to be able to time walk off all the damage. Now a call down. Seneko and Dichira are going to be caught in it now. End forcing his way back up. Here comes Mikasa using the Shivas. Dichira has to turn and face his fate. Triple kill for VG, and now General coming back in. Does manage to get Mikasa. FY forced to spin the Echo Slam. General is going to be brought down by the Rocket Barrage. Seneko has to roll himself away. Dichira back up, trying to right-click him down. Can he do it? Even if he can, it's just going to be the Aegis. And just being kited around. There's another Sprout from Dichira, just buying time as long as he can. Nothing he can do. He's now going to try to chase down the Prophet. Now another Sprout. There's going to be the boulder kick. Just look at this. This is ridiculous. It's like they're toying with him. And there we go. The Aegis is gone. The Aegis just expired. Na'Vi managed to hold against all odds.
I am speechless.
There's your idea for your next custom game, guys. Kite the gyro. Oh my goodness.
What a play from Dichira. Biding time for the Aegis, kiting him around, timing it to perfection. They team wiped VGR. They don't have buybacks. What? Beastmaster. Two heroes, both without buyback. Dead for a minute. Na'Vi are actually going to turn this around and get wrecked for themselves.
And there's a Deso! A Deso on Dichira! This is going to be at least one set to gyro! Oh, here we go. Seneko leading the charge. The crowd absolutely electric here in the Cyber Arena. 83 kills, nearly an hour-long game, and this is just game one.
Gyro may go.
He did get the refresher, or Shaker did get the refresher.
He wants to go big. He's got double ulti in 10 seconds.
Oh, don't think it's going to matter. The damage is going to be done. He's going to have to wait for another time to use it.
Na'Vi showing a lot of respect towards the VGR respawns.
And I think the crowd says it all. Na'Vi, we're trailing, and still are trailing quite a bit if you check the gold. But man, did they make a dent, and did they shake the confidence of VGR? They get 1.5 sets of racks down. Where do you go from here if you're VG?
If you're Na'Vi, you have to recognize that turnaround, that taking a racks at bottom, taking the melee racks at mid, you're still behind. The hero composition is still what it was 10 minutes ago, where you were in a ton of trouble. They just managed to find an opening where two heroes went down, didn't have buyback. If VGR reset, get the buybacks back up on these core heroes, Na'Vi could be in trouble. So I think if you're Na'Vi, you go now. You actually go and look to fight before both Beastmaster and Quap have buyback. The crowd love it. They're seeing these item pickups, and they believe. Na'Vi wants to go now. This refresher, Dendi is all in. Doesn't have buyback, has double ulti for the next fight. They're hunting.
Here we go. Na'Vi moving through their own ridgeline near their ancients, trees.
This is just so reminiscent of like 2012, 2013, the Na'Vi magic. These guys would just win the impossible games. They're doing it again.
My heart is pounding out of my chest. Here we go. General's gonna count it 3. Mad Chronosphere. Yang is down. DDC is down. FY is down. And has been hexed. General trying to chase it down. There's a boulder smash. Can you count to 4? That's just about, okay, the gyro does have did have buyback. Na'Vi ready to go, ready to try and close this out. Buyback not available. No, the Beastmaster should have it, does he? Yes, he does. He can't buy back.
No buybacks on any VGR
no, they
heroes.
don't. The timer. I was just looking at the. Oh my God!
It's on cooldown. 1.5 minutes. Na'Vi have another exorcism. They refresh it. They go for the throne, Ayesee. They're going for the GG.
There's going to be the Hex on the end. They're going to follow it up. And will reach his end. Mikasa lets loose the ult. Nothing but a scream of death as Na'Vi end it with a full 5-man wipe. They take game 1, and they light this house on fire.
That is one of the best games of Dota I've seen in my life. from pure play, the plays that have happened, the stories to be told, and the clutch comeback from Na'Vi.
Like you said, man.
I don't know how they do that.
It's the magic. It's the yellow and it's the yellow and black magic, my friend. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, the numbers don't even begin to tell the story, really.
It's
like,
the big plays. Like, no one will remember General's missed Chronospheres. That 3-man Chronosphere at the end, that was the play that will be remembered when it comes back to this game 1 of the Grand Finals. That was what secures Na'Vi the win. It got to that end point where all VG had to do was sit back, wait for some of their buybacks, but Na'Vi knew that. They went all in. They got the Refresher. They got the Mjolnir on the Nature's Prophet. They got the Ag Scepter on Void. They were ready to go for the game-winning blow at this VGR squad, who they knew if they gave them time to reset, it wasn't even just for the buyback. It's the emotional moment. It's the momentum factor. If you're VGR, you're much more likely to make a mistake in that period while things are still like fresh in your mind, like we just lost Rex.
Right.
And Na'Vi take advantage of that.
Having your confidence deflated in the game, but then you hear this arena erupt, and it's it's TI's TI and so on and so on, but this is such an intimate arena. This is such you and I could feel this place pulse as Na'Vi gain momentum, and we could watch VG just begin to bottom out. But I'll tell you what's surprising. I just checked right while I still could. Na'Vi won that game still trailing in gold. Still trailing in gold even by the end. Oh. That's Dota. I'm Ayesee. That's GoDz. That's game 1 going the way of the hometown favorites. We're going to throw it to our panel. They'll break it down right after this short break. Stick with us. Game 2 coming up next.
E-gaming bets. We accept bets